And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to something very special. You thought we were done for the day. You thought that we finished with WTL. We kind of did. We did wrap up day number 2 of the round 5, the round of 5 of WTL, and we are here with day 1. We mentioned before, but we actually missed out on casting day 1 yesterday because we were the B stream for ESL Masters Asia, Europe, and Americas for ESL Masters Winter. We were the B stream, so we actually couldn't cast WTL, so we have to catch up at some point. And we do have some plans to have some catch-up streams over the course of the week, but we had a little bit of extra time here as we just wrapped up live casting day number 2, and now we can catch up on some of day 1. 2 matches were had, 2 best of 7s were held, and we have one for you here today. It's going to be Shopify Rebellion versus the KWANGDONG Freecs. Let's go, Bobby. As you can see on the stream here, again, our overlays aren't as fancy as what the typical production does have. We're working with spreadsheets, Bobby. So a little bit more, a little bit different, a little bit cleaner, if you will. But regardless, we do have quite a number of matches we can see here on the screen. We have ByuN versus Armani starting on Oceanborn. We have Scarlett versus TY starting on Solaris, and Harstem versus Keen in a PVT. Now, again, this is a best of 7 constructed by a bunch of best of 2s in between. First to 4 wins will win the series, and if it goes 3-3, then we head all the way to the ace match, to that game 7. Oh boy, so yeah, quite a number of matches are before us. The KWANGDONG Freecs, they've had a hard time. They've had a rough season so far. They've had a really hard time finding their footing. We've spoken about it, but unfortunately, none of the players on the KWANGDONG Freecs are full-time players. They're all part-time, but they're all like veterans. They all had their limelight. They all had their time in the sun in years past, and they're in their twilight years of StarCraft 2, and they're looking to try to reclaim those glory days of back in the day, and they've been struggling. They have been struggling a little bit. They have a really solid team. They have Armani, TY, Keen, Stats, as well as Su. So again, on paper, it sounds like a bunch of heavy hitters, but the reality is that a lot of them are less so. They're more so like out of practice. Like they aren't able to keep up with some of the more consistent players, but a couple of them have been showing some moments of brilliance. TY is one of them. I want to say that TY, Su, and Stats, those 3 players have been looking a lot stronger, and they have been showing improvement over time. Armani and Keen, I'm keeping a keen eye on them. Armani, I'm keeping a keen eye on them to see if they also show signs of improvement and get better and stronger over the course of the season, over the course of World Team League. I hope so. I do hope for it. I do look forward to it. Up first, we have ByuN versus Armani in that TVZ. It's going to be a best of 2 game 1 on Oceanborn, and we are looking to dive on in. Vámonos, papi. Vámonos. Ace match is going to be on Radisson Station as well, as we saw earlier today. The maps are predetermined for every single one of these for each day. They do share the predetermined maps. Radisson Station will be the ace if we do get there. But for now, we're getting to our first best of 2. As a reminder, it is also loser's pick, so whether ByuN or Armani lose, they will have the option here to pick that second game, that second map. As we load on in. This is totally not going to be confusing. I still have the logos mod for god damn it. I still have the ESL logos mod, so I have some very different players that are facing off. But here we go in the bottom right hand corner for Shopify Rebellion.
Hold on, I have
the
to
blue
fix
Terran.
it.
Yeah, the blue Terran player. It looks looks like Kuro may have the same issue. It is ByuN. But for those wondering, we do have a custom logos mod that we do use for certain events, for KSL, for Sparkling Tuna Cup, GPO, and of course the ESL Masters as well. And we're gonna have to fix that as we get into game 2 later on. As we do head on over to the top left, in the top left hand corner, we have the red Zerg for the KWANGDONG Freecs. It is Armani. Not on Platinum Heroes. And this is not an event sponsored by ESL Pro Tour, but we'll fix it. It's all good. We'll fix it. in the next game. But for now, we do have a 2-Rax opener out of ByuN, not coffee. And yeah, this is very standard. ByuN, he's very fond of the 2-Rax, and he's done it time and time again. He was doing this every game in GSL and most TVZs in general. He rarely diverts away from 2-Rax openers, so he is going to be doing so again. Meanwhile, we do have Armani going for a hatch gas pool opener back in the main. Everything is looking as it should here in the early game. I'm curious how familiar Armani is with the ByuN opener, by the way, because the reality is that, again, Armani, he is a little bit more out of practice, and ByuN's opener is very unique to ByuN. There was a period where Cure was doing this a lot last season, same with Maru, but they have kind of stepped away from it. In the new patch, in the new map pool, we haven't seen Cure and Maru embrace this opener as much, not as much as ByuN, who has stuck with it. Reaper is going to be moving out across the map. We have 2 more Reapers on the way, 3 Reapers in total. The goal here is to contain and delay the third base for as long as possible. We do see Armani does keep a drone hidden here at the third base location. He is looking to slip out and sneak out that third base uncontested. For now, he invested quite a lot. He made 6, now 8 Lings on the way. A bit of an overreaction out of Armani, making an extra wave of Lings. We do have the third base taken here from Armani as well. So far unscattered. No, sorry, it has been scattered by ByuN. Is going to divert his attention and apply some pressure. Now, only 3 Reapers back at home. ByuN is transitioning. We have a tech lab. We have our add-ons on the way. And he is going to be following this up with a 4-Rax. Very aggressive follow-up here from ByuN with a 3rd and 4th Rax on the way. That is going to hit a very strong stim timing. Meanwhile, the Reapers are chipping away at that 3rd base, and Armani still cannot deal with this. The Queens are pushing on forward. We may force a cancel. Uh-oh. Again, Armani, he did delay his Queen production in favor of extra Lings, and that may just kill him. That may just be too much, and this 3rd base, it is going to be canceled. Oh, no. It's getting close. Getting very close here, as we need a couple of extra hits from these Reapers. They go for the Lings instead. It looks like the hatchery is actually going to finish. There we go. Ling Speed finishes up. The Reapers are going to get the hell out of here. God, just going to be rotating around through those mineral patches, and it looks like 1 Reaper finally falls, and Armani barely holds on. Whew. That was close. And once again, extra Lings were forced out. Armani's drone count is not where it needs to be, but he's going for a Evo chamber behind this. This should be for +1 carapace, and he is now going to be preparing for the follow-up. But Armani did take a lot of losses there early on, and this is going to be a difficult thing to hold. Looking at the units tab here, looking at the units lost tab here, was 1 Reaper for 8 Lings. And again, extra Lings were made, which means less drones, which means a worse economy, also means less Queens. Oh, interesting. Armani's actually responding with a Roach Warren. Okay. Roach Warren in production for Armani. Meanwhile, Stim is on the horizon, and the push is upon us. Again, this 4-Rax hits very hard, and if you are not quite prepared for it, this could kill you. Now, ByuN, he's not going for a factory follow-up. He's going for a 3rd CC. A 3rd CC before factory, so he is going for a more economic transition. Meanwhile, the Marine Army does move out. What do we have at home to defend? Lings are not good enough. How many Queens do we have? 6 Queens. This is going to be a tight hold. The Roach Warren does now finish. Roaches can soon be on the way. And with all the Queens coming together, I believe we have enough energy for 1 transfuse, maybe 2. We should be able to hold. As ByuN tests the waters, goes up the ramp, sees the Queens, but he still, oh my, he has no fear. He stims on forward, he trades with the Lings, the Queens will stand strong, they transfuse, but 1 Queen goes down. Oh, so many Lings fell as well. That was 26 Lings, but Armani does hold. What's important though is that ByuN doesn't actually lose his army. He does lose a couple of Marines, 7 Marines died, but from here, he's backing off, and he's going to be getting his 3rd base and working towards medevacs. Factory's on the way with a reactor. We should be seeing an add-on swap here for medevac production. And ByuN, he's working on that next step. Meanwhile, Armani saturating his 3rd. He's got Roaches to defend. A Bailey Nest gets thrown down, so it looks like he wants to go into Ling Bane Roach Ravager. Release Ling Bane Roach, which isn't a bad composition, but again, it is quite larva intensive by going back into these Lings, going back into Bailings, and Bailings are still a ways off. ByuN, he's back, and he's making sure that a 4th base hasn't been taken. Armani stuck on 3 bases. He needs a 4th soon, as he's taking all of his gases, and yeah, being contained for this long does not bode well for the Zerg, as ByuN is actually getting his 3rd. So both players are going to be on 3 base economy. ByuN, I would say, currently ahead in the economy as well. The worker counts are pretty similar with each other, but bearing in mind that mules do actually give Terran a bit more of an advantage, which is why Zergs typically need to be up in workers and up in bases. But again, the 4th was delayed. And here we go. Here comes the secondary push, this time with medevacs, so we can be a little bit more free with how we stim. So before this, every stim counted, and we had like 1, maybe 2 stims in the army. But now with these medevacs pushing out, we can stim much more freely. We can be that much more cavalier with our army as we run into the Lings. Oh, a lot of Lings do get shaved off. Roaches have to back up as well. Armani, he was actually supplyable for a moment there. Ravagers are on the way. Armani trying to muster up his defenses. Without Baneling speed, can he connect? Up the Banelings! They won't land. Good target firing. A handful of Marines do go down, but ByuN, he's not done. He picks up, he goes towards the natural. There are Queens in position, and Armani holds. He's holding, Papi. He's on at 3 base saturation, 66 workers. He needs that 4th. Meanwhile, back at home, ByuN just solidifying himself here on his own 3 bases. He's taking extra gases. He's going for a 2nd factory. This should be leading into a 4th CC. This shouldn't be a 3 base all-in out of ByuN. He's on 5 Raxes. But he's just going to be consolidating his forces, reinforcing his drops, replacing those Marines, and pushing out once again. Now, Armani, he is holding, but the problem is that his economy is lacking. His economy is lacking. His 4th was late. His 5th is late. His macro hatch is non-existent. So eventually ByuN, I mean, his macro is going unparalleled. Like, he is getting a bit out of hand. It's not really too effective now. Bearing in mind, though, that Art, he actually has Ravages involved, which are very supply inefficient. And being even in army supply here with the Terran is not necessarily a good thing. Here we go. Double drop. Actually going to be skirting the edge of the map, heading towards the main base. Armani, he does react. He is coming back. He is attempting to keep up. He's going for a Spire, actually. Oh my god. Okay. Spire on the way here for Armani. At the same time, working towards that hive. Meanwhile, as ByuN distracts the main forces here with this double drop, we have a main push pushing through the center of the map. Clearing off creep. That is another thing that Armani is lacking. Lack of creep spread. So far, good sort of stepping out of ByuN, shaving off a lot of Lings. The double drop is still stuck in between the bases, and we're just waiting for the opportune moment before we pull the trigger. And ByuN is about to max. He's about to max out. I mentioned before that because he took his gases, we should be going for a 4th. And there it is, 4th CCs on the way. So again, ByuN isn't all in, but he's going to be hitting a timing with 2-2. 2-2 is on the way, and it's going to finish up in a couple of seconds. And this move out from ByuN is going to hit like a truck. Now, what do we have to defend? We have Lingbane, a couple of Ravagers, a couple of Roaches sprinkled in. No Spellcasters, no Infestors. We have 2 Vipers in production. The Vipers will help, but they need time to not just produce, but also gather that energy. They need time to just gather that energy, stuck on some buildings. Greater Spire on... Oh my god. Okay. Greater Spire's on the way for Armani. Bold move. Very ambitious. We'll see if we can get that far. As ByuN is pushing through the center of the map. He has maxed out. Now, there is potential for Armani if he's able to surround this force, fight on creep, then he can clean this up. But without those things occurring, ByuN, he will trade more efficiently. We do have the double drop rotating towards the right-hand side. They're going to be meeting up with the main army. Decent mine shots. Does shave off a lot of Lings. So Armani rotates over towards the left-hand side. Scan reveals the hive. Scan reveals the Greater Spire as well. So ByuN, he's aware. Immediately, Ghost Academy. Ghost Academy gets thrown down. Ghosts are on the way. Good reaction out of ByuN. Ultra Cavern also gets thrown down here for Armani. He's working on 3-3. ByuN pushing through the center. Armani getting ready for a surround. He's gonna be coming in from every single angle, and here we go. He comes in from behind. The Vipers, they have their energy, but the mines! Mine shots go off, but we clean up the army. We force a pickup. ByuN has to race back home. Armani, he has momentum. He can keep on pushing. We only have 2 full medevacs left. Armani has maxed. And he will take down this planetary. He gets into the mineral line. 4th base will go down. ByuN taking 2 more CCs behind this, but they are cancelled. And Armani, he has breathing room. He's able to rebuild, remax. He's got corruptors on the way. They are 0-0 corruptors, so they're not ideal. Do we still have our Vipers? Yes, we still have both Vipers alive, full of energy. Filled to the brim. And Armani, he can get ready for a second wave. Meanwhile, ByuN is also remaxing. Actually now taking a new 4th base. This time it's going to be an orbital, not a planetary. ByuN, he's lost his economic lead. He's lost his bank. And ByuN, it looks like he wants a turtle. Yep, turrets. Turrets are on the way. Ghost production. We should be going back into tanks from here as well. ByuN, he's doing what Terrans do best here. If they do lose map control, just turtle on or just wall off. Just wall off here on 4 bases. And Armani has map control. He's going to be able to spread his creep and, again, take control of the rest of the map. His main army is still lacking a little bit. I mentioned before that the upgrades for these Broodlords are a little bit behind. Scan does reveal the Broodlords. Here we go. Armani getting ready for his push. At the same time, ByuN, he does go for a double drop on the right-hand side. He should be denying a hatchery. He could do more than that. Drop comes in. Hatchery should be cancelled. And this will be distracting the main army of Armani. It looks like he morphed in all of his corruptors into Broodlord, so he doesn't have anti-air. He cannot shut down these drops. And ByuN reestablishes his 4th. And now he's working on a 5th. And now ByuN is stabilized. ByuN, he is going to max out. So that was a scary moment for ByuN, where he lost that 4th base on the low ground. But that is a very exposed base. And yeah, he has since been able to replenish his workers and remax once again. Armani giving him a lot of time. ByuN going to try to push through the center, try to break through these rocks. Snipes going off on the Overseers, not on the Broodlords. This time Armani able to keep up with the drop play of ByuN. He has Lingbane in position. Does force the pickup, still no anti-air. The Broodlords, they come in. No, but the snipes! Snipes go off, and 1, 2, 3 Broodlords go down. The ghosts are exposed. We do trade 3 Broodlords for 3 ghosts. As you do look at the battle report. Not a bad trade. As ByuN, his drops are being cleaned up as well, as we do have some corruptors. Medevacs are going down. And the Armani, he's slowly getting into Broodlord Infestor. And that should trigger Ghost Thor out of ByuN. And there it is. Thors are on the way. We have the transformation upgrade. We are basically transitioning into Ghost Mech. That is the ideal late game composition here for ByuN, especially if we're turtling. And that's kind of the direction that we're going in. Again, Thors, tanks, Hellbats, Ghosts. That's kind of what ByuN wants to work with. And Armani needs to try to slow him down. Fading Ram on left-hand side does take out the planetary. The base will fall. We get 1 SCV, I believe, if that. Roaches are thrown away, but we wanted to get rid of those roaches. How many infestors do we have? 4 infestors, not bad. 4 infestors out here for Armani. I appreciate as well that he threw down a Hydrogen earlier. He's getting ready for potentially lurkers. Ultra Cavern was thrown down. We're still lacking in some upgrades. Armani just trying to get his economy going. Now, the goal here for Armani is to try to break these fringe locations. We do see that ByuN has split up his forces, but if Armani can break either the CC, the planetary on the right-hand side, or on the left, then that's ideal. He needs to just keep on breaking the bases. You cannot allow the Terran to get a 5th and a 6th base up and running. Otherwise, the Terran will get out of hand. Especially in a split map scenario, like ideally the Zerg player needs to be up in bases, and for now that is not really the case. Here we go, the Baileys, they roll in once again. Go for the middle line, and they do break the planetary on the right hand side. This is what Armani needed. Takes down a base, takes down 19 SCVs. He's just trading out his Ling Bane. He's preserving his Broodlords and his Infestors. Meanwhile, ByuN just wasn't quite in position, but now he's going for a big counterattack. He knows that at the moment, Armani, he's still rebuilding and remaxing his army. So he had an opportunity, he cleans up a lot of creep, and then he backs off. And very mature play here out of ByuN, just pushing out. He knows that there's a window, cleans up a bunch of creep, backs off. And now ByuN, he retakes control of that right-hand side, taking another CC. And Armani needs to keep the pressure up. He needs to just keep on going again and again, breaking those bases. He has rebuilt his Ling Bane. His Broodlord count is still looking solid. He's actually converging here on the left. He's bringing everything together. Meanwhile, ByuN, he now realizes that there's nothing on the right-hand side. He's going for a base of Armani. Would he be trading a base for a base? Good EMPs on those Infestors. Neural on the Thor. The Baileys, they want the Ghost, and they will not quite connect. They get one Ghost in the end. The Thors as well. Armani, he breaks through on the left-hand side. At the same time, ByuN, he's also breaking through on the right. So we are trading one hatchery for one planetary. Which means both players will be on 5 bases. And can ByuN keep pushing? Does take down the base. Armani does back off. ByuN, likewise, also going to be backing off. Armani does have a bank to work with. He has 2.5k gas. So he can rebuild. The worrisome thing is if he takes a bad fight with his Broodlords. If he loses too many Broodlords too quickly, that will trigger a big counterattack. So he has to be very careful with those Broodlords. The inverse is correct as well. If obviously if ByuN does take a bad trade with his Ghost, if he gets caught out by a fungal, that's the ideal for Armani. If Armani catches the Ghost with a fungal, then that could just be game then and there. So ByuN has to be very careful with his Ghosts. Cannot be caught out. As we can see, Armani just making sure that ByuN is staying on 5 bases, is not getting a sick. Here we go. 1 Ghost, 2 Ghosts go down. We're gonna get a 3rd Ghost. These are rough trades here for ByuN. Oh, a 4th, 5th Ghost even. Oh my god. Slaps are gonna be going off, and now we can turn the tables. We can go toe-to-toe with the Broodlords. And where's the support? Where is the support for the Broodlords? We have a couple of blinding clouds being thrown down, but a lot of Broodlords are falling. At the same time, Armani, he's going for a big counterattack on the left-hand side. He's trying to catch these Ghosts. They do get picked up. They are saved. Bailey's rolling on in and going for the mineral line, going for that 4th base. SCVs are falling. And as the dust settles, how were the trades? Again, looking at the battle reports, that was 7 Broodlords and 1 Viper for 9 Ghosts and 3 Thors. But again, losing all those Broodlords, they take a long time to rebuild. I mentioned before that if we take too bad of a trade with the Broodlords, that means that ByuN can push out. That's exactly what's happening. ByuN, he's pushing on the right-hand side. That's a kill, not a cancel on that hatchery. He pushes on the left. This will also be a kill on the hatchery as well. So 2 bases are falling immediately. Armani, he's desperately rebuilding those Broodlords in the center of the map. Meanwhile, on the right-hand side, the Ghosts, they keep pushing. There's nothing in position. This hatchery, I mean, at least the drones will go down. 11 drones. And now ByuN backs off. And that was the bank. Remember that bank that we were talking about for Armani? It's gone. His mineral bank, at least. He's still got 1k gas, but he has spent most of his bank here. He hasn't maxed out. ByuN has. ByuN has maxed. He has been able to trade more efficiently. He has been able to out-trade, and now he gets a 6th base on the right-hand side. It took a while. It did take quite some time to actually get this base up and running, and it's still not fully operational. The Broodlords are here to stop it. For the APs! Connecting on one Infestor. The army's clashing once again. Broodlords forcing ByuN back. They get eyes on the SCVs. That should be a tell. Armani, he hasn't seen the base, but he should know it's there. Once again, EMP is not quite connecting. Ambitious Ghost, they do get a couple of snipes. Again, attempting to EMP. Big chunk of ghosts go down. Oh my god, so many ghosts are falling. But the snipes are still real, and they get almost every single Broodlord. Baileys, they crash on 4, but they connect on the Thors. The Ling Bane gets cleaned up. GG gets called. A base went down on the left-hand side. Armani runs out of steam, and ByuN takes game number 1. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. ByuN all over that fight. He killed every single Broodlord with those snipes, with the target firing on the Thors as well. And Armani, he didn't have a bank. We spoke about it. He did not have a bank. He lost a base on the left-hand side at the same time. He had no more longevity in that game, and ByuN will take it. Oof. And that was pretty close. Again, I've said before that there have been a couple of games that we've casted recently from Armani that I've been very impressed by. It's like, yo, he's actually not looking too bad. And I think this is another example of that. He was keeping up with ByuN, which is impressive because ByuN is one of the best Terran players in Korea at the moment. I would say he's, top 3. Top 3 alongside Maru and Cure. And yeah, for Armani to go toe-to-toe with him on Oceanborn was impressive. Not enough to bring him down. ByuN, he had some really good decision-making, and even though he was losing some bases, he was still preserving his army, preserving his ghosts, preserving his Thors. He was trading very well, and did end up taking down Armani in the end. And with that, Shopify, they start off with a lead, and now it comes down to game number 2, Armani's map of choice. We go. Oh, of course. Don't forget logos mod. So you have to make sure don't get anything confused in game 2. Here. As we are going to be loading on in. And game 2 is going to be on Alkyone. Oh. Here we go. Getting a strong start here for Shopify Rebellion. ByuN is coming in as the favorite player. He is the ace player of Shopify for a reason. Can Armani cause the upset? Can the Dark Horse bring it back here? Or will it go the way of the ByuN? We're here to find out. Here we go. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Alkyone, we have the South Korean Terran player representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing the KWANGDONG Freecs. It is Armani. Looking to bring it all back. We go. Also, as a reminder, don't forget about in-game names. As we no longer have the logos mod, so don't forget to fix that as well. As we are getting into our openers, and yeah, it is going to be a hatch gas pool from Armani. It is going to be a Rax expand. Oh, actually, a CC first out of ByuN. Oh my god, the greed. The greed is real here as, yeah, this is going to be a very economic opener out of ByuN. Typically, players don't go for this just because it can be really risky. This is typically punished by a Roach Rush. But as we can see, Armani is going for a standard opener. Unlikely for him to actually go for early game Roaches. This isn't really punished by an early pool. Early pool timings won't really do anything against the CC. CC will finish up in time. So a greedy opener out of ByuN, but he will get away with it. And he's following it up with a 2-Rax. Oh my god. Okay. We do have a 2-Rax follow-up here from ByuN. I believe this is going to be getting into Marines and add-ons very quickly. Maybe even add-on first, if I'm not mistaken. Like, we have seen ByuN go for this build before. Is it CC first into Reactor? No, okay. Safety Marine. Oh, no, Reactor. Yep. Spirit, is that you? Este Spirit. So a very greedy build here by ByuN. 0 units in the early game. 0 attacking units here from ByuN. No Marines, no Reapers, no nothing. And Armani has no idea. Armani, he's just going hatch gas pool. He's making some safety links. Should be working towards a 3rd base. Yep, 3rd hatchery is on the way. Armani's moving out with these links to try to figure out what's going on. But by the time he does, like, again, it's just a little bit too late to punish much of what ByuN is up to. We have 1 SCV on the low ground that's a little bit vulnerable. And Armani can maybe get 1 SCV kill. We'll see if ByuN can react in time and save that worker. The Lings have arrived. The wall is looking solid. The Lings, they go for the SCVs. And we do have the Marines coming out just in time. Can we get 1 worker? It looks like we cannot. ByuN will save and preserve everything. And he will deflect these Lings. So we're going to have a very clean, a very greedy opener out of ByuN. Very clean defense, and he got away with it. Oh, Lings are trying to get 1 more SCV. They're doing their best, but alas, they will not. Behind this, Armani, he's cutting workers. He sees how greedy his opponent's been. He sees how greedy ByuN has been, and he knows that he needs to punish it somehow, some way. He's going for a Ling Flood. No Roaches, no Banelings, just a pure Ling Flood out of Armani. Can this work? This could work if there isn't a wall, but ByuN, he is close to fully walling off here. It's going to be a tight hold here. It's going to be a tight defense. The Lings are rushing across the map. Marines are in position. Oh, Lings have been spotted. And Marines, the boys, they're being pulled as well. Some Marines do get surrounded. But with the help of these SCVs, with the reinforcements as well, the Lings, they're being cleaned up. ByuN, he will hold. And that was a big blow for Armani. He invested so much into that. Oh my god, it was 24 Lings. 24 Lings thrown away for what? For 4 SCVs? Oh boy. And now ByuN can move out. He takes out an Overlord. He can hunt down another Overlord as well. And Armani, he's stuck at home, re-droning, resaturating his bases. He's making another wave of Lings. Looks like he wants to try to catch these Marines. No! Oh, as another Overlord goes down. Again, ByuN with the Zolnaga, he had high ground vision. He cleans it up. Behind this, Stim is done. Combat Shield's about to finish up. This is a 4-Rax follow-up. And this is going to hit like a truck. This is going to hit hard. A 3rd Overlord goes down. Supply blocking Armani. He breaks free. Gets out of the supply block. He's got how many queens? 6 queens, 19 Lings. Oh boy, ByuN, he can dive. I think he knows it. There you go, we stim on forward, we dive on the queens. Lings, they come into support. Looks like we will clean up the Marines. Armani will hold. Armani survives. He cleans up the Marines. He can go for a big counterattack. ByuN should be safe back at home. Remember that 4-Raxes are not all in. He's transitioning. We have a factory on the way. Should be for a starport follow-up as well. Now, what is interesting about this build from ByuN is that it's a factory before CC, which means this could actually be a 2-base all-in out of ByuN. Like, this 3rd CC from ByuN is very late. Oh boy, there's the starport on the way. We saw that last game it was a 4-Rax into a 3rd CC. So ByuN, if he wanted to, he could double down and throw down another Rax and go for a 5-Rax off of 2 bases. Now Armani, he's trying to catch up in workers. He's droning. We have a lair on the way. Double Evo chambers for 1-1. The lair was delayed, but that's because of the early game and all the chaos that was ensuing. Armani still not at the worker count he needs to be. His drone count is still not ideal. We want to get up towards 60, 66 workers, 3-base saturation. Meanwhile, ByuN is not all in. He throws down a third CC in his main. Okay, so we're getting into the mid game. We're easing our way in. ByuN just building up his forces. Again, he's safe at home. He should be safe to take his third. And the game will progress from here. The game will settle on down. I'm not too fond of this. Armani, he keeps making more lings, which keeps disrupting his droning. So because that, Armani, his economy isn't as strong as it otherwise could be. His fourth base is on the way. But again, he is hyper fixated on producing an army. I think he's just a little bit paranoid. I don't blame him just because of how aggressive ByuN has been. And Armani still, he has lings in position. He still doesn't see a third. So he's very afraid here. He's respecting ByuN a lot. Armani, I'm sure he's fully aware that ByuN could be going for a 2-base all-in. So Armani, he's just very wary of his position. Hydras are on the way. +1 range. Double drop making its way towards the gold. Hunt down another Overlord. As we attempt to stim on forward. Not quite making it in towards that third base. Armani, he's now getting up to 3-base saturation. He's reaching towards 70 workers. Third base has been spotted. That is the cue for Armani to drone. Not just drone, infestation gets thrown down. Now he knows he can tech. He knows that he is free to tech. He is free to, look further ahead into this game. How about the queens? We still on forward. 1, 2 queens go down. 3, 4. Oh my god. 4 queens. A very good trade there for ByuN. He traded 4 marines for 4 queens. And 1 ling. Crazy. A very good trade there from our Terran player. Behind this, we have a 4th CC on the way, so this isn't going into an 8 racks. ByuN, he's just macroing up. Working on that next step. As here we go, he's going for 2 pushes. We have a double drop towards the south. We have a double drop in the center of the map. He's going to try and pull Armani apart. Armani so far keeping up, though. He's able to push back the drop. We have a Spire behind this. I'm not too certain about the Spire. We're already going Lingbane Hydra. But it looks like Armani may not really intend to go into Lurker play. Does gain access to a greater Spire with that Hive. Till then, ByuN once again testing the waters. He rotates back around with a double drop towards the north. Going to be threatening that hatchery. He stims in. And can he get much here? He can maybe get a couple of drones. 2 workers go down. Just 2. Getting an efficient trade here from ByuN. Meanwhile, we do see Armani catching a drop here towards the south. Again, the medevacs were very low. But they did go down, so a good catch there from Armani. As Armani has maxed out. But ByuN, he's already assumed his role. The role of the defender. He's walling up. He's turtling up. Again, we saw this last game. We're seeing it again. ByuN, he's just making tanks, turrets, liberators. He is just walling off here on 4 bases. And this is a very difficult 4-base setup to break. I mean, look at the defensive line. Sensor towers, tanks, turrets, liberators, choke points. So ByuN, he's just going to be turtling here until he maxes out. And here we go. Armani going to try and test the waters towards the left. He has Lingbane towards the right as well. Can Armani keep up? Sorry, can ByuN keep up? Oh, the Lings, they get in. Oh, but they do not get a tank in either location. Yeah, ByuN, he does hold, and he is maxing. Ghost on the way, +2. +1 vehicle, sorry, +2 vehicle weapons as well. So Armani is, again, just reaffirming his map control. Like, ByuN, he cannot really push out at the moment, just because Armani has been maxed for quite some time. But what has Armani been doing with this, right? He's been maxed for, like, a couple of minutes at this point. He is taking more bases. His creep spread is looking okay. It could definitely be better. We have a Greater Spire with +1 carapace in production. But do we have any spellcasters? Do we have any Vipers? We have one Viper. Could do with more. We have Broodlords on the way. Interesting choice here from Armani. We'll see if he can get away with it. I'm surprised he hasn't tried to take the gold. The gold is something that he has been avoiding. As ByuN is slipping in with a double drop, but he comes across the queens. One full medevac goes down. And the other could be abducted by that Viper. Where's the Viper, by the way? Oh, no, never mind. Viper's just chilling with the Broodlords. But the medevac is going to be keeping some of the supply stuck here back at home as the Broodlords are pushing. Now, I understand the value in rushing into Broodlords. It is a very higher form of tech and it can be difficult to deal with. But fortunately for ByuN, he already has ghosts. He already has, what, 6 ghosts, soon to be 10 ghosts on the field. He already has the answer to Broodlords. Broodlords are going to push forward, though. They do take down a tank. Tanks are repositioning Liberators as well, and Armani, he's committing. He's going to force his way up the ramp into the siege line. Oh my god, but the Bailings are melting. The Bailings, they do not get on top of anything. The Broodlords are pushing through, but they're exposing themselves, and here come the snipes. Oof. 2 Broodlords, 3 Broodlords, 4, 5, 6. Every Broodlord goes down. The Bailings, they do get into the mineral line. 24 SCVs fall, but for the cost of almost every Broodlord. At the same time, okay, double drop towards the south is going to get cleaned up. So ByuN, he fought well. He traded better with his main army, but he did lose a big chunk of his economy. I would say that's an okay trade for Armani. It's okay. It'd be better if Armani had the gold. Like, if he had the gold base, he could help replenish his army that much faster. He is remaxing. Armani, he's actually avoiding Broodlords. He's going into Ling Bane Hydra again. Lurker Den is done. Lurker upgrades are on the way. Scan reveals the Lurker Den and 2 Nidus Worms as well. Very value scan there from ByuN. He's fully aware of the potential of Lurker. Sorry, of Nidus. Oh, I mean of both. So he scans and he's like, oh, okay, I'll just keep making ghosts. Keep making ghosts, keep making tanks. I mean, actually, this is a really important scout. This tells ByuN not to make Thors. This tells him to stick to tank production because obviously the Broodlords aren't being rebuilt. So we don't need to waste time on Thors. Keep making tanks. ByuN's army is well set up for this. Again, you only need to make Thors if you know that your opponent is making Broodlords. As we get 2 Nidus Worms into the main base, but they have both been spotted. And neither will finish at the same time. We have Armani denying the base on the left-hand side. We could maybe even get a kill. He has a lot of Hydras. There's plenty of Hydras, and up. It looks like the base will go down just barely. The base falls. We got the lone Broodlord harassing at the triangular 3rd location of ByuN. Best of luck. Nidus were back into the main, but we have units in position. Yeah, these Niduses, they should not finish. And ByuN isn't overreacting. He's got a handful of Marines to deal with all of this, and the main army pushes through. Big EMPs on the Vipers. Massive EMPs. The Bailings, they will not connect. It's a meat grinder. Oh my god. The snipes are real, and Armani throws away his army. He drops 70 supply. And Armani, he has a bank he can rebuild, but he doesn't have a lot of gas. Armani does... Oh, god. He is at remaxing with 80 Lings. That's a lot of Lings. That's a lot of larva. But you can see that trying to break these 5 bases here, sorry, these 4 bases of ByuN is not a good idea. So typically the rule of thumb from Zerg in this position is to take as many bases as possible and deny the 5th. Just deny the 5th base over and over again. Don't try to push into the 4th, because as we can see, the defensive position is too good. And ByuN, he trades far too well here back at home. The 5th is more exposed, and we can have some better engagements, but Armani, he was a little bit cavalier. He was maybe overconfident because of his supply, because of his position, and yeah, he did throw away an army. Now ByuN is taking a 5th base, and this is when we can try to punish it. Again, it's on the low ground. There are multiple angles of attack. You can attack from the left, from the center, from the right. But Armani's not there to punish it. He's, clearing up creep. He's dealing with rocks. He's taking the gold. And now he's rotating around. But as time goes on, you can see CCs, planetaries are on the way, turrets, sensor towers, tanks are repositioning. But the longer Armani waits, the more fortified this position is. He's going for it. Oh, he tries to. But he cannot. We do have 2 Night Storms in the main base. Once again, they're going to be denied as Marines are in position. Night Storms will not finish, as we have 2 more in the main. At the same time, Armani, he does go for that 5th. Decent blinding clouds. SCVs and a lot of mules do go down, but we cannot push up this ramp. Oof, not like this. The question becomes, okay, what do we remax on? I think now is the time to go back into Corruptors. Back into Broodlords. Again, there's no Thors. There are Ghosts, but there are always going to be Ghosts. And Armani, he's still thinking. Okay, he's going for Infestors. 5 Infestors on the way. I think now is the opportunity to make more Corruptors, make more Broodlords. But we're going for Lings. And Armani actually can't max. There it is, 2nd Spire for double upgrades. Armani just waiting for those Overlords to finish up before he does kind of decide what kind of direction he wants to go in. Oh, as ByuN does fortify this 5th. And this is going to be a turning point here for the game, where Armani has had map control and he's been, been able to afford some of these trades, but now ByuN's economy is about to get out of control. ByuN even has like a gas bank that's on par with his opponents. And there it is, Fusion Core, near steel frames, high-sec auto tracking, Thor production. I think ByuN knows that now is the time for Broodlords, so he's getting ready for it preemptively. And we have Thors on the way. He recognizes that's a big weakness in his army. He's working on his anti-air. Yeah, Lib range on the way. We do have a couple of fungals going up. Armani trying to catch these ghosts. He does get one. He's going to get a 2nd ghost as well. And barely catching a couple more. Not too bad. Banelings, they pop off, but here comes the rest of the army, and oh, Armani, what are we going to be rebuilding? Where do we go from here? I'm still waiting. +3 on the way, +3, +2 for air attack and air defense. 5 Infestors. ByuN is counterattacking, and there's nothing to stop him. He will kill this base. Armani, he needs extra gases. He actually hasn't taken his gases towards the south, this like southern center base. Without gas income, he has enough gas for like 1 remax of like a high-tech army. Here we go. It's a lot. 55 Banelings, Papi. Okay. You have my attention. As we're getting into this army composition, ByuN, he takes the 2nd base towards the north. This is huge. He's taking both bases with rich Vespian gas geysers. Very important bases on this map. ByuN is cutting off the top part from the Zerg player. The Banelings are rolling in once again. A mass amount of Banelings. They do crash in. They take down a good chunk of the ghosts. But the mech army pushes through. There's still enough ghosts to make it through as well. And Armani's going to lose everything. Going to lose all of his Ling Bane. He does manage to slip a couple of Lings into the top left. And they're getting some SCVs. Oh my, they're getting a lot of SCVs. 17 workers go down. A big blow to the economy of ByuN. Meanwhile, Armani, we have very limited gas. What are we going to rebuild on? There it is. Corruptors, soon to be Broodlords. But he's running out of gas. Both players are, to be fair. But, yeah, gas saturation here is lacking for Armani. Droning as well. He's in a low drone count. So the goal is for Armani to go back into Broodlords, but at this point it may just be too late. These rich Vestian gas geysers for ByuN are actually going to be huge. Here we go. He's denying bases. ByuN takes down the base on the right hand side. He's pushing towards center right. Armani trying to reposition. Oh, yo, can he catch these ghosts? Oh my god! Oh, it looks like 8 of them will escape. Most of them actually do make it out alive. I'm a little bit in shock. Okay, there we go. Yeah, just one medevac and a handful of Marines went down. Every ghost survived that. And you can see ByuN, he's just slowly taking over more territory, more of the map, with the leapfrog of the sensor towers, the planetaries, the tanks. Just pushing ever closer to the important natural base of Armani. He's getting there. Armani's working on the goal, but you can see he's out of gas. Armani, he's run out of gas at this point. He has maxed. He's going to be pushing in. He's going to take down a couple of these tanks. 3, 4, 5 tanks. Not too bad. Going to keep on rolling towards the main army of ByuN. Once again, he wants those ghosts, but he will not get them. One ghost goes down. Oh, an overextension with the Viper. Viper falls as well. That Thor going ham. Armani will back off. Scans confirming the lack of saturation at the golds. ByuN is making his way over to deny those bases. Now, because Armani has been making just Ling Bane, he is slowly accumulating a bank as well. But these hatcheries on the right-hand side, they're not going to finish. Oh, that's a kill, not a cancel. On that base. Meanwhile, this gold, yeah, it's not mining. You have the ghost just picking away at those drones. Now, Armani is maxing out, but the reality is that Armani's army is basically just Ling Bane. It's Ling Bane with a couple of corruptors. There is potential, but yeah, this gold base is going to go down as well. Armani, he cannot expand. Cannot hold onto these bases. ByuN actually taking the base on the right-hand side. Bold move. It's going to be cancelled. And uh-oh, where's the rest of the army? One tank goes down. The choke point is real, though. Yeah, Armani cannot push in. And here comes ByuN. Up in army supply with mass Thor ghost tank. Oh, we cannot fight this. Not with Ling Bane. Not with only Ling Bane. We're going to try, though. Tanks are spreading out, and Armani's going for it. Oh my, catches 4 ghosts. Big pick off. A very crucial moment there for Armani. Taking down 4 of those ghosts. That was an overstep from ByuN. Meanwhile, Armani just trying to remax once again. Still in Ling Bane. Here we go, we're pushing in. Into tank fire. Mass amount of Ling Bane rolling on forward, crashing into Thors. There we go, say do cloak in time. The Ling Bane evaporates. GG gets called, and ByuN, he takes the fight, he takes the game, and he takes the 2-0. GG. GG, well played. That was the final fight that Armani had in him. And as we saw, Ling Bane pushing into Thor tank ghost. Just not an efficient army. The tank spread was too good, the ghost split was too good, and the Link Bane just evaporated. And with that, Shopify will take a 2-0 lead, with ByuN taking his 2-0 over Armani. GG, well played. Solid performance out of ByuN. But I want to give a big shout out to Armani because, again, I don't really know what to expect from him anymore just because he isn't a full-time player. But both in Game 1 and Game 2, Armani, there were moments where he was even ahead against ByuN. It did feel like Armani was a little bit lost as to what to make at certain times. That's the downside. It does feel like he's lacking a little bit of current knowledge or, yeah, just experience even. I don't know if I want to say experience, but like, yeah, just it felt like he was a little bit lost at times with what exactly he needed at the time, and ByuN was able to take advantage of him because of that. But when it comes to like the overall macro, the map control, the fights, the trades with what Armani had, it wasn't too bad. He was able to keep up, forced a lot of late game out of ByuN. GG, well played. It bodes well. It bodes well here for Armani. I look forward to seeing more of him in the coming weeks. If he can, hey, keep up with ByuN for a long time, he can take it to some of these other Terran players, you know, so look forward to it. GG, well played. With that is our first best of 2 in the books, and now we're moving on to our second best of 2. Another ZVT between Scarlett and TY. Here we go. Game 1, of course, being on Solaris. And strap yourselves in because this is going to be a very different ZVT. Curious, she's gonna like this one. TY, I'm sure we're gonna see mech more than once. I can feel it already, Papi. The mech, it's coming. It's coming.
The real question is, will this be shorter than or longer than the previous series?
Oh, longer, 100%.
Why did I agree to this? Questioning some life choices.
Let's go, Papi. Let's go. As we are going to be loading on in to Solaris. Again, TY, he has been a little bit more active compared to Armani, for example. But TY has been very adventurous and has been looking into some of the new aspects of the new patch. He's been looking into the new Cyclone quite a lot, and I'm curious how he's going to embrace it here against his next Zerg opponent. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have the Canadian Zerg player representing Shopify Rebellion. It is Scarlett. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have her opponents. We have the blue Terran player representing the KWANGDONG Freecs. It is TY. AKA barcode. But here we go. Again, the best of 2s are upon us, and Scarlett has had some time to prepare for this match. I think what else is important is that thankfully Scarlett doesn't have to hide too much of her builds either for ESL Masters, just because ESL Masters, when it comes to the other top tier players in the Americas region, it's mainly Protoss. Like, the big competition for Scarlett is Estrella and Trigger. I mean, sure, Kelazar is popping off, and Kelazar is going to be a bit of a dark horse coming into ESL Masters Americas. But yeah, Scarlett, I don't think she's really too concerned about hiding things or holding back here against TY. As TY is going for a CC first. The boldness of these players, but yeah, ByuN, he got away with it against Armani, and TY should be able to get away with it here as well. So it's going to be CC first into a Rex. Very greedy opener here, and this is becoming a little bit more popular. Spirit has been doing this for years. For years, Papi, Spirit has been doing this, and it's slowly catching on here amongst some of the Koreans, just being aware that they can get away with a little bit more on some of these maps just based on the current meta. We'll see how greedy we are with this. As if you remember, ByuN went for a CC into Rax into Reactor before Marine, into 2 Rax Reactor actually. Here, do we cut corners? Do we go for an add-on? We do not. So, a bit of a safer variant. We have a Marine before add-on into Factory. Still greedy, but not as greedy as ByuN. ByuN still kind of trumps TY there. As Scarlett went for a hatch gas full standard opener, should be going to a third base. Now, what's important is that Scarlett, everyone knows about TY. Everyone knows that TY loves mech. You know, this is known, Papi. This is known. Everyone also knows that TY and Special are good friends and they share builds. And Scarlett has a lot of experience with Special as well. So the playstyle of TY shouldn't be a surprise to her. It should be expected. And as we can see here, I mean, I told you, Kur. That's the second factory. It should be mech. And again, TY, he's one of those Terran players out there currently that embraces mech more than others. It's TY, it's Gumiho. Gumiho, he's not afraid of mech. Clem, but Clem, he does it like once in a best of 5. You know, Clem, he doesn't rely on mech. It feels like TY does. There it is. Second factory's on the way. We're going for some add-on swaps. Reactors as well. Now, whether or not TY plays mech in both games, that's... TY, he can play bio, don't get me wrong. He can, 100%. But we'll see. Time will tell. Time will tell when it comes to game 2. Here in game 1, Hellions are on the way. We should be seeing an add-on swap as well. Interesting that we're going Hellion first, but we should be going to Cyclones afterwards. Cyclones do pair well with the new Hellion, and we're actually going for a Hellbat push here with the Armory. Okay. Fun fact, this two-fact opener into double reactor Hellions, this can technically still go into bio. This could still lead into Stim. Just putting that out there. I remember casting a lot of these kind of games with Asher, talking about how two-factory Cyclone pushes back in the day, a couple of years ago, we saw, I think, Maru do it, where I think it was Maru, maybe Cure, where they actually switched into bio. And it's very old school. I'm sure Asher would know the origins of the build. He's a little bit more meticulous like that, and he's good for that sort of thing. But I don't know who did it first. But regardless, we have a wave of Cyclones behind this. Armory is done for said Hellbats. And Scarlett is preparing with Roaches. Scarlett, we have a Roach Horn on the way. She's seen all the Hellions, and a safety Roach Horn against CY makes a lot of sense just because of what he's prone of playing, his playstyle, I should say. There it is, the Hellbats have been revealed. Ooh, no Baneling Nest, by the way, so we have to rely on Queens and Lings for now, as Roaches are on the way. Here we go, TY pushing through the center of the map, forcing his way towards the natural, where we have a wall of Queens. We have 7 Queens in total. That's not too much. 7 Queens trying to hold on. The Lings, they come in from behind. They collapse on the Cyclones. The Hellbats have to protect. No! A Cyclone goes down. The Roaches come out. And Scarlett will shut this down. Again, very patient play out of Scarlett, preserving her Lings, coming in from behind when the Cyclones were exposed. And TY was lured into a false sense of security, was lured in and surrounded. Now, TY, he may have kept some of his army alive, but he's lost all the steam. He has lost a lot of steam already. As the Roaches push forward, the Hellbats are going to get cleaned up. Now the Lings, they can just wreak havoc here on these Cyclones. And TY, he's going to bleed out a lot, if not everything. Yeah, the Lings are coming from behind, and we shut it all down. A solid cleanup here from Scarlett. And TY throws down a third factory. He is not transitioning into bio. It is just straight up mech. And Scarlett's in an amazing... She's far ahead. She's in an amazing position. She is far ahead here. Her economy was untouched. Her queens were untouched as well. Looking at the units lost tab here, she lost 1 queen throughout all of that. Traded Lings and Roaches, which is acceptable losses. And now she's getting towards a 4th base. And playing mech from behind is a very difficult thing to do. You need momentum. If you're playing mech, you need momentum early on. You need to get into a mineral line, roast up some drones, get some queens, take down a base. Without any of these things, then you are behind. Oh, and as the Hellion Cyclone moves out, we have Lings slipping into the 3rd base, denying mining time, not killing anything, but forcing lots of lost mining time here from TY. Additional factories are on the way. Back at home, we have +1 range, Roach speed. Scarlett just getting into her upgrades, double expanding, getting a 5th, spreading creep. I mean, she's always been known for amazing creep spread, and that's what we're seeing here. Again, the world is Scarlett's oyster. She can do whatever she wants at this point. Within reason. As we have an infestation pit for Hive Tech. And she's just securing herself. Now, as this is happening, TY is slowly saturating his third. Getting into tank production now. And TY should be able to get up to 3-way saturation. The fourth. The fourth is... Oh, no! TY, calm down. Almost kills his eBay. But the fourth is where things become a little bit worrisome. Now, the two fourth base options for TY, the triangular third or this kind of center rich resting gas geyser base, they're both very exposed. There's multiple attack paths here. Scarlett already working through the rocks in the center of the map. So if TY tries to expand towards the south, Scarlett is ready for it. And she's even got an army here towards the north as well. Just keeping an eye on the fourth base. That's all she has to be concerned with. Just deny the fourth. That's the name of the game for Scarlett. And she's going into Swell. Let's go. I thought it was going to be an infestation pit for a Hive Tech, but no. It's going to be Swarm Host instead. Let's go. Swarm Hosts are on the way. Very old school. Swarm Hosts, they can be punished by a more Cyclone Hellion heavy composition. We do see Scarlett diving on top of this army, forcing it back. Swarm Hosts are getting ready for their Locust Wave, and we can even go for the tanks. The tanks are looking very exposed here at the third. Uh-oh. Here we go. Locust Wave is on the way. And do we go for the base or do we go for the tanks? Quick on siege, but 1, 2 tanks going to be going down. Can we get the third? Third tank barely will survive. That does create an opening here for the Ling Roach Ravager. Another Locust Wave comes in. The tank shots. Good tank volleys on the Roach Ravager. But the tanks, they're falling one after the other. A very efficient trade for Scarlett. She barely drops in supply, remaxing instantly. Now, in the midst of this fight, in the midst of this chaos, TY, he is getting that fourth. The fourth base is being snuck out. You can see the Cyclones trying to chase down the Swarm Host as well. Forcing out a premature Locust Wave. Still have more Locusts available. Again, very early waves. It's going to be forcing on sieges out of TY. So we are collapsing on the third base once again. So Roach Ravager does have to be careful here. As we dive on top of the Cyclones. Oh my god, the friendly fire as well doing a lot of damage. Another tank falls. And Scarlett is all over this. Now again, TY does have his fourth, I guess, but not too sure if that's really going to be enough. God, the Locust Waves, they just do not stop. We've been a little bit spoiled for Swarm Hosts today. We saw Cham just dominate with Swarm Hosts earlier against Trigger. Likewise here, the Locust Waves, they don't stop. Another tank falls. TY, he barely has a standing army. Barely has anything left. I'm loving these staggered Locust Waves as well. Coming in bit by bit. Not like the Terran. And TY is making 10 Cyclones at a time, so he's fighting back. Oh my god, the Locals are crazy. He's trading well here against the Ravagers. But the Locust Waves, they do change things, and yeah, once again, they're going for the tanks. And they dive right on them. Oof. The plows are too good. Scarlett, she's broken on through. She's got +3 range on the way behind this. The third base has been broken. The fourth barely mining. The boys have to be pulled, and Scarlett is snowballing out of control. GG gets called. Scarlett will take game number 1. GG. Again, TY, he was banking so much on the initial Hellbat push to get damage done. Either reset the queen counts, get into a mineral line, take down a base, get something more than just lings, more than just 4 roaches. Alas, was not the case. Scarlett was able to hold, was able to defend beautifully, and just snowball out of control from there. Just mass expand, spread creep, drone up, and head into the eventual Swarm Hosts. GG. GG, well played. With that, we're going to be getting ready for game number 2. It is going to be TY's map of choice. It is going to be hard lead. And the question becomes, do we try to play a different form of mech again? Of course, TY has a lot of different variations of mech up his sleeve. Doesn't have to be a Hellbat push again. It could be Hellion Cyclone into Banshees. Could be a more traditional form of mech. You know, mech just tank Viking. Just we got options, Papi. Or just tank Hellion. Here we go. As we make our way into game 2. Ooh. Again, Shopify, they're already up 3-1. They need one more to really secure their victory here. Can they pull it off? Who is the cutest StarCraft player? Currently? In current era? Wait, there's a clear answer to that. Eva. Obviously. What do you mean? Aye. Has to be Eva. Has to be. As here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner of hard lead. We have Night Phoenix is another close one, actually. Night Phoenix. The thing with Night Phoenix, it has to be Night Phoenix with cat ears. That's maybe the cutest.
Would you say Clem is not cute though?
Clem needs cat ears. That's what Clem is missing.
Makes sense.
There we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner of hard lead. We have the Canadian Zerga player representing Shopify Rebellion, leading the series 1-0. It is Scarlett. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have her opponent down in this best of 2. The pressure is on. Needs to fight back here and now to keep his team in this. Representing the KWANGDONG Freecs, it is TY. Here we go. And TY, interesting, going for the special opener, which makes sense. I wouldn't be surprised if Special and TY came up with this together. It is a Rax on the low ground into a factory. So this is not to be confused with the ByuN opener, which is a 2 Rax. This should just be Rax into factory on the low ground, into a CC behind this as well. So yeah, it is kind of great to see the TY. Again, I'm sure still quite close with Juanito as well. Good friends for many, many years. So yeah, we have an SCV Scout moving out. Marine comes out as well to try to shut down this Overlord. The stutter stepping is real. Overlord down to half HP, and can it make it to the pillar? Up! It's gonna be close. But it looks like the Overlord will barely make it through. Oh, gets onto that pillar just in time. And without high ground vision, this Overlord will survive. The Rex is on the way! We lift up the Rex! TY, he wants that Overlord. One way or another. He's hunting it down. It's not long for this world. There's no way out, Papi. There's no way out. And the Overlord will go down. Smooch. Behind this is that factory that we were talking about on the low ground. Again, Special does this quite often. Did quote-unquote popularize this. And we are getting into a 1-1-1. Interesting. Okay, so there's a lot going on here. Meanwhile, across the map, Hatch Gas Pool. Standard opener from Scarlett, Hatch Gas Pool into a third base. Nothing too crazy here from Scarlett. Everything is looking normal and standard from the side of TY. So, because of the positioning of this factory, we cannot add on swap for the starport. That is not going to be happening. This could be a BC opener. If the starport's on its own, it can start making its own tech lab. We can go for a Viking first into a fusion core. That's what this looks like, but we'll see. As no, it's a medevac, not a Viking. Okay, we're going for a Hellion drop, or not just a Hellion drop, but Marines and Hellions. Okay, interesting. Very committed here. Widow mines? What? Okay, we have Hellions on the ground to harass, to distract, and we're following it up with a mine drop in TVZ. Crazy. Absolutely insane. Now, because this is a 1-1-1, this needs to do damage. This needs to trade well because we are delaying the third base. We are delaying the third TC for this opener, for this push. It has to be worth it. And here we go. The Hellions already taking a lot of hits to the Queens. Drop is coming in. Scarlett did have control of the Xel'Naga, and she's just spreading creep here at the third base location. Meanwhile, TY is going for a drop into the main. Avoids the third entirely. There is a Queen in position, a couple of Lings as well. More Lings are on the way. The mine drop comes in. Up. Good reaction. Good reaction so far. You can see Scarlett trying to force some friendly fire. The unburrow from those mines will maintain control of the mineral line. No, the retargeting. Up. Up. Oh my god, that was so close. That was insanely close. Scarlett, what does she lose? She loses 0 drones, only mining time. She shuts this down, and this wasn't worth it for TY. He killed some Lings. This drop killed some Lings, and back at home, he's working on a third CC, but it's a delayed third CC, additional Raxes, so rejoice. No mech, 2 games in a row, only game 1, only game 1. Here in game 2, it is going to be ByuN, but alas, 'tis ByuN that is quite delayed here just because of the opener. So Scarlett is free to just drone, take a 4th base. Baneless is on the way, gases are being taken, Lair in production, Evo chambers on the horizon as well, and yeah, Scarlett, she can chill for like a minute. She can chill for quite some time before anything comes, before anything pushes. She's working on those rocks to make sure that any kind of frontal push is going to be easier to deal with. Shutting down those rocks. There are those double Evo chambers for 1-1. Lair's going to finish up. It is lined up with the Baneling Nest, so we can just go straight into Baneling speed. So it is going to be a Ling Bane out of Scarlett. It is going to be on the way. As if on cue, there is that Baneling speed. Meanwhile, we do have a Hellion drop. Hellion drop going to be making its way towards the main base. There's a lot of potential in these Hellions. They can just barbecue a mineral line. They're going for it, but oh, they get 2 drones. They're only 2 workers. They are zoned away. Good reaction, good defense here from Scarlett. Queens getting in position to even catch that drop if it tries to go back in again. As TY is just now getting his 3rd. As he gets a 3rd, Scarlett's getting a 5th. That's how far ahead she is at the moment. 1-1 on the way. Hydra then gets thrown down, so it's going to be Ling Bane Hydra for Scarlett. Is going to be her composition of choice. Oh, the Queens! Queens are getting caught out. 1 queen, 2. Oh, 2 queens go down as well. Big pickoffs here for TY. Good moment. Good moment for him as he collapses on this hatchery, and the hatchery is going to be cancelled. 5th base is going to be cancelled. Scarlett trying to expand towards the center instead. She's waiting for 1-1. There's no reason to try to collapse on this Xel'Naga. We can just back off and wait for a more opportune moment. Just wait for a better engagement. As TY still just barely doesn't really have saturation at the 3rd. Yeah, well, he was supply blocked for a moment there. As he breaks free from the supply block, the Lings, they come in to harass, and SCVs are going down. We barely had any to begin with, so 3 workers, not too big of a loss, but because we don't have many, it's still a big blow here for TY. Scarlett, a bit premature, still on 0-0, still doesn't have +1. He's going to be forced back with those Lings. She's just amassing her Ling Bane army, still working through those rocks. And finally, the rocks, they go down. Here we go. TY actually with really good tank positioning. Making use of the high ground, takes down a queen. And this is going to be a difficult position for Scarlett to break. Instead, she goes for a counterattack. She doesn't care. The Banelings, they're rolling in. They get into the mineral line, and SCVs will fall. At the same time, the Hydras push on forward. She has to be careful to overextend. The Hydras are quite vulnerable. When the Marine Army gets on top of the hatchery, Scarlett, she's turning back around with her Lings. She's looking for a surround. She catches a tank on the low ground. She even gets on the high ground as well. Scarlett losing 7 drones here. still waiting for 22 more leagues to produce. But she's bleeding out a lot, and yeah, she has to give up this base. This hatchery will fall. But TY is all in. Like, TY, he has nothing else behind this. He needs to end the game with this army. And Scarlett knows it. She can be patient, take her time, back off. Oh, as TY goes into the main. The jump into the main as well. The creep is crazy, by the way. We're already at the third base of TY. You have Marines in the main base pushing towards that hatchery, that lair. But there are so many Hydras. And Ling Bane closing the distance. Liberator goes down. Tank as well. Yeah, we can even get the final tank. And TY, he turns back around, but what is he turning back to? He's got 7 workers at his third. He's only on 5 Raxes, so this isn't even a proper 3-base all-in. There's no 3-base saturation. It's essentially a 2-base all-in here from TY. God, but there's just creep everywhere, and because of his limited economy, he can't scan. And as he takes his time, Scarlett just making more lings. Once again going for a counterattack. Oh, she's spinning creep under the CC. She's not letting it land. Scarlett having some fun here, collapsing on the army in the main base. And focusing down the tanks, the Marines, one after the other. This is not an efficient trade for Scarlett. She just has to back off. Fighting Marines with Hydras, not ideal. But the tanks went down. And that's what matters most. The tank hull was reset. GY is sending reinforcements across the map. Scarlett, she has more than enough to keep up. So much creep. Playing with map hacks, essentially. She can see everything. This isn't the best trade from Scarlett, but she breaks through anyway. GG is going to get called, and Scarlett will take down TY 2-0. And that is Shopify Rebellion winning the series. GG. GG, well played. A solid performance there from Scarlett. TY, yeah, just had a really rough start. It was a very odd start as well. Winding it back, remember, he opened up with a 1-1-1 into 2 Hellions, into Widowmines, into a Medevac, and he went for a Mine Drop into the main. Crazy. And it set him behind. The openers did set TY behind. It delayed his third base, it delayed his bioproduction, it delayed his upgrades, it delayed everything. And it wasn't worth it. He didn't kill a single drone. Not a single worker went down in the opener, and as a result, Scarlett did snowball out of control. She will take the series 2-0, and that means that Shopify will win this, but we have one more best of 2 remaining here. One final best of 2. It is going to be Harstem versus Keen in a PvT. Let us go. So there's a little bit less on the line, a little bit less pressure on these players, but it's going to be a good series nonetheless. Looking forward to it. Harstem, El Captain, of course, is looking to come out swinging. Meanwhile, Keen, Commander Keen, he's actually the team captain. He's actually the player captain of the KWANGDONG Freecs. And I'm always excited to see what he can bring to the table. Just like Armani, I want to see what his form is looking like, how much he has been improving, how much time he's been putting into the game, and what he looks like at the moment. Can he keep up with some of the more stable pro gamers like Harstem, like Lambo on Shopify, like Scarlett as well? We saw Armani not perform too badly against ByuN. How will Keen do here? So we get ready for game 1 on Site Delta. Again, we're nearing the end of this best of 7. Only 2 matches left. So don't worry, Cora, don't worry. And it's okay. Keen's probably not going to play mech against Protoss.
Don't say that.
Probably.
Don't say that.
Not like this. TY though, he would. He'd 100%. He'd play mech against Protoss. Yeah. And here we go, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner. Bottom right-hand corner of Site Delta. We have the blue Protoss player from, or representing Shopify Rebellions from the land of the Netherlands. It is Harstem. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player representing the KWANGDONG Freecs. It is KWANG. Here we go. And again, KWANG, he's the captain of the KWANGDONG Freecs. He's looking to put a point on the board, looking to fight back for his team. TY as well as Armani, they had some rough performances there. And again, Armani, he was able to keep up with ByuN. TY versus Scarlett felt a little bit more one-sided is what I will say. Scarlett was in control from the get-go, and TY had a very hard time keeping up. KWANG versus Harstem, I do think this is a little bit more evenly matched. I do think that Harstem, he's one of the weaker players on Shopify, and I'm not trying to knock on Harstem. He's an amazing player, don't get me wrong. But on a team with ByuN, on a team with Lambo, on a team with Scarlett, I do think that Harstem, you know, he's the content man nowadays. And he's proud of it, to be fair. He's proud of it. We'll see if he can keep up. As, for now, we have some standard openers. We have a Gate Cyber into expansion here for Harstem. KWANG trying to go for an economic opener, but the delay is real. Harstem, being such a nuisance with this probe, is finally going to be zoned away, but did successfully delay the expansion of KWANG, as KWANG is going for a Rax expand, an economic opener out of our Terran player. So we have an economic opener out of our Terran, likewise a standard opener out of Harstem. So we're just going to be easing our way into this series. I'll be honest, I don't really get to cast Harstem too much. I only get to cover Harstem in WTLs, in World Team League matches. He's not the most active player when it comes to the online weekly tournaments, unfortunately, so we don't really get to see him too often there. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what he has to offer and how he does play this out. I'm very familiar with Harstem's PvZ. He has a very unique style of Protoss versus Zerg, but I'm ready to be reintroduced to his Protoss versus Terran. As the Reaper is going to be zoned away. So far, KWANG in the dark as to the opener, I believe, checking his vision. No, sorry, he did actually see the Stargate. KWANG is aware of the Stargate opener. He should be getting ready back at home. We have a Cyclone. Oh my god, wait, what? We have a Cyclone on the way, which is normal. I was about to say should be Cyclone into Viking, but there is no Starport. There's no Starport because we're going 3rd CC before Starport for KWANG. This is crazy. This is not a thing in TVP. This is as greedy as you can be. Very greedy play here from KWANG. And Harstem doesn't know. Not yet. He will find out with his Oracle. He's going Oracle first, not Phoenix. So the Oracle should scout the main base. But this is wild. KWANG cutting a lot of corners, being hyper greedy here against Harstem. We'll see if he can get away with it. As Harstem is going for an Oracle first into a 3rd base, into a Phoenix. 3rd base is being set up, and it is thrown down for Harstem. So likewise, actually a very economic opener out of Harstem as well. Instead of, as the Cyclone does zone the Oracle away. But as opposed to, typically a Protoss player would be going for a 2nd gateway, maybe a Robo first, and then taking a 3rd. But this is also giga greedy. Before Warp Gate is even done, 3rd Nexus for Harstem. We're clowning. This hyper greed from both players. The Oracle goes down to the Cyclones, and Harstem, despite making an Oracle, doesn't get any damage done. It doesn't scout his opponent. So typically I would say this is a bad start for Harstem because he invested into an Oracle and it literally did nothing. It did 0 damage. But Harstem also has a really fast 3rd, so he kind of makes up for the fact that it did no damage with a greedy build like this. So we have greed versus greed. And who can outgreed who is the question. Phoenixes are banking up, and KWANG, he can assume that this is what's happening. For all he knows, though, there could be a 2nd Oracle, and we could be going to a Twilight Council into Blink. That is possible. So KWANG is in the dark. He's not fully aware of what Harstem is doing. As the Phoenixes are moving out, Harstem making his way towards the main base of KWANG. He is going to be zoned away. Meanwhile, oh my, I didn't even realize. I did. It happened during the last cast. It's 4 a.m. Thank you, Rage. It's my birthday. I did. I didn't even notice. It ticked over. It's my birthday. As the Phoenixes are gonna dip into the main base, they get a cyclone as they dip on out. Yeah, I didn't even notice when it went over midnight. Ay. Thank you, Ranger. Thank you. Fun fact, Ranger, I think you're the first one to wish me a happy birthday. That's it. As Phoenixes are going to be moving out, going to be chipping away at the CC. Just maintaining map control. And Harstem, he just goes straight for a four. Oh my god, he goes straight for the fourth base. Straight for the fourth, Papi. Just greed on greed. I mean, again, the Phoenixes, they did get eyes on the third CC, so he knows how greedy Keen has been. So Harstem is just trying to keep up with that. Charge on the way behind this, a gateway explosion as well. So it's going to be Phoenix into charge loss, not into Colossi. It's going to be a gateway heavy competition, not Robo. Cyclones, they do get some lock-ons. 5 SCVs go down. Good trades here for Harstem. Taking out 5 of those SCVs. Keen having a hard time maintaining control of his own economy as he's building up towards a bio-tank army. You know, he's got a, I was going to say a 3-1-1, a 5-rack setup on 3 bases. That is to be expected here for Keen. So a solid production setup. Meanwhile, Harstem now working towards a robotics bay. Now going to be working towards Colossi. Scan's going to be going up. Trying to get a read on what is happening. And Keen is pushing out. He is pushing towards that fourth base. Now, what do we have at home to defend? We have chargelets. We have a couple of sentries for force fields. No splash damage. Bear that in mind. No splash damage available here for Harstem. At the same time, he's going for his own zealot counterattack. He gets into the mineral line. A couple of SCs are going down. At the same time, the main armies are clashing. He has to back off. He has to respect that tank. Oh, but he has so many zealots. He could potentially commit. Doesn't go for it though. Prism into the main base. The War Prism does get shut down. The mines, they've waddled into the third of Harstem. Up! Oh my god. 6 workers fall. There's chaos everywhere. There's zealots in the main base of Keen. Widow mines in the third of Harstem. And the zealots there. They can collapse on this army. They get a full surround. And the main army of Keen will be shut down. It should be at least, but we have reinforcements. The macro, the third base. Keeney's just rallying across the map and he's snowballing out of control. He may have lost his tank, but where are all the zealots? Where did all the zealots go? Oh, they're coming. First Colossus finally arrives. Oh, but the mines, they reset. 7 more workers go down. As Keen just continues to rally across the map. He dealt with the Warp Prism, so there's nothing to worry about back at home. There's no other aggressive warp in potential. Keen, he can focus on his attacks as he rotates away from the fourth and towards the third. And there's nothing here. Harstem, he's out of position. He misses the rotation. Shield battery goes down. The cannon as well. Oof. And we ignore the base itself. We go straight for the mineral line. And oh my god, so many probes go down. The mine shots. There's no anti-air. There are no stalkers. The Phoenix count was reset. We just pick up. We drop into the main. And Harstem is being pulled apart. Shopify, they may have won this series, but Keen is looking to fight back for his team, for the KWANGDONG Freecs. He goes for the Bay. He denies extend thermal lands. He dives on the Colossus. GG gets called, and Keen takes game number 1. GG. Oh my god. Once he got his 3 bases up and running, he started and he did not stop with that army. And really, the only thing keeping him back was the War Prism harass, but once it got cleaned up, there just was nothing to stop him. GG, well played. And congratulations, Keen. He does fight back for his team, but it's a best of 2. It's a best of 2, and Harstem, he can fight back. as it is going to be his map of choice, and it makes plenty of sense. In a PvT, Harstem, he's going for Rat Hazard Station. We spoke about this before, but because there are no vetoes in this format, there are no vetoes, we actually get to see more Rat Hazard Station than normal, and this would be a good map for Harstem. It would be a good map for his greed, and to actually get a stable 3 and even 4 base economy. Here we go. But a shout out to Keen, again, he was looking strong there, was pulling Harstem apart, even waddled in with some Widow Mines, maintaining control of the economy, and yeah, at least he does fight back for his team. Can he fight back even more? Can he take the 2-0? Or can Harstem secure it for his team and for himself as well? Here we go, the final game of the broadcast. Unless we get an ace match. Oh, no, sorry. There's no potential for the ace match. Final game of the series. It all comes down to this. Here we go. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Rat Hazard Station, we have the blue Protoss player representing Shopify Rebellion down in the series, but looking to fight back on his map of choice. It is Harstem. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Terran player representing the KWANGDONG Freecs. It's the commander himself. It is Keen. I just realized it's the commander versus the captain. Let's go. Who was going to rule over who? Over who is the question. So far, Keen with a strong start on side Delta. And the question becomes, how greedy are we going to be? How greedy is everyone going to be on Rat Hazard Station? Harstem, he is looking for proxies. He moves out with a probe. He's scouring the map right now, making sure that he doesn't get bamboozled here by Keen. Meanwhile, Keen going for a Rax, what should be a Rax Expand, an economic opener. Now, this map, because it's a pocket base, you can actually take a very fast third. You can take a very fast pocket base here as your third, and get a boosted economy as a result. This is applicable to both players. Now, the other downside of this map, which is applicable here to this matchup, is that there is no Reaper Cliff coming into the natural, only the regular ramp. There's no Reaper Cliff going into the main either, so it's that much more difficult to scout and figure out what the hell the Protoss is doing. Whether they go for a Twilight Council or a Stargate opener, it will be difficult to confirm, and Keen goes for a Marine first. So it makes a lot of sense. It makes sense here for Keen to skip the Reaper because the chances of the Reaper actually scouting is very low. It is going to be quite low here instead. So yeah, going to be Marine first into the reactor. Are we going to go CC before Factory? No, not this time. Factory is thrown down for Keen. And are we going to go CC before Starport? We'll see. Back at home, Harstem is going for a Stargate. We have our tech of choice. It's going to be a Stargate opener. Again, makes sense. You can, of course, gain map control with Phoenixes and, of course, wreak havoc in the mineral lines. There is a lot of potential for Skytoss units in general on Rat Hazard Station. Harstem, you could even double down and just go like double Stargate Phoenixes. Like, why not? Just double down, Poppy, double down. Rush into Skytoss. For now, we can see Harstem is mining through those middle patches, working towards that pocket base. Keen, interesting. He doesn't go for a third CC again. This time he's going for a much more standard opener. He's going for a 1-1-1. So not as greedy as the previous game, actually. Very interesting. I'm curious as to what this is how this is gonna come together. We may go for a faster medevac. We have Hellions on the way, and we could go for a Marine mine drop with Hellions kind of coming into support as well. So it looks like an aggressive opener out of Keen. We'll see if he can bring it all together. As there it is, there's the medevac on the way. Meanwhile, Harstem is going for an Oracle first, then into Phoenixes, the exact same build that he went for last game. Oracle zooming across the map, and Harstem throws down his third base in that pocket. Just like the last game, third Nexus before second gateway, before we even finish Warp Gate. A very greedy build here from Harstem, which he did last game. The mine! Ooh. Oracle does go down to the mine. Ay, ay, ay. This 2 games in a row, the first Oracle dies straight away. You don't want to be an Oracle in under the command of Harstem. Not like this. Not like this. First Oracle goes down without seeing too much. Mine drop is on the way. Bold move, especially considering there are Phoenixes out on the map. It's going to be on this medevac to avoid those Phoenixes, and so far he is threading the needle. Phoenix goes into the main base. There are Marines waiting in position. Mine drop gets across the map, working its way towards the main of Harstem. Now, there's no armory, so you don't need detection to deal with this, but we have a second mine drop being set up as well. Keen and not slowing down here. Alright, here we go. We have Hellions diving into the natural base. And here comes the mine drop into the main. Oh! So far, good reaction out of Harstem. He does fall back in time. Yeah, the mine shot's less than ideal. We do get confirmation that Phoenixes have arrived, and that we have a robo follow-up. No, they come back! Up! They come back a little bit too soon. But only one more worker goes down. Good cleanup, as Harstem will deal with the rest of this army. But we're not done. We have another quadruple mine drop coming out from Keen, just outside the natural base. He doesn't commit yet. It looks like he wants to wait a little bit before he does go in. So he does fall back home. Keen is working on his third CC on location, getting a marine-based army out, bio-based army. Keen is just setting up defensively back at home with these mines. Maybe not really confident in his ability, or not confident that he's going to be able to get damage done. Recognizing the strength here of Harstem, how he avoided chaos, he avoided disaster. And this time, Harstem, instead of going Phoenixes into charge lots, it's Phoenixes into Colossi. I mentioned before that there was a faster robo, which was scouted. Keen looking at his vision, he didn't see the bay, but seeing the robo is enough to recognize that Colossi should be coming out. +1 air attack on the way! I was kind of joking before when I said that Harstem can just go into faster sky toss, but no, it's actually happening. There it is, Fleet Beacon, second Stargate. Now, this is a bit of a PSA for the people in the chat. If you're a Protoss player, and if you see Harstem do this on Radis's Station, remember, you can only do this on Radis's Station. Don't try to pull this off here on some of these other maps, because it's a very greedy thing to do, a very risky thing to do. The reason why Harstem can do this is because his third base is secure. There is, other than drop play, there is no way for this third base to be under threat, and Harstem has controlled the Zelnaga, so there's no way for a drop to actually hit this third without it being spotted. And Harstem, because he went for a Stargate opener into Phoenixes, he has Phoenixes for map control to shut down any drops ahead of time. So Harstem is safe and secure on 3 bases. He's working towards a 4th, and there it is. Carrier production is commencing. So we're rushing into carriers, rushing into Colossi. And Keen, how does he react to this? How does he respond? How does he stop this? Catches an observer. Observer does go down. Harstem going to be rotating towards that pocket base as well. And he's going to find some SCVs. 3 SCVs do go. Oh my god, do go down. Takes the mine shot to the face. Harstem has to be very wary with his army. Doesn't want to throw anything away. But all that he has to do is contain. That's all Harstem. Like, killing workers is a little bit overkill, but just containing the Terran player, keeping them busy, keeping them at home. Keen taking his 4th base. Little does Keen know that we are building up carriers. First carrier has arrived. We have 2 more on the way. It's Carrier Colossus. Boy, the death ball is just building up. Harstem is already at 82 workers. That's just an ideal worker count here. Doesn't need any more than that. And Keen, he's going for a Widowmine drop towards the bottom right. The job has to get a lot done. Not just damage. This job needs to scout, more importantly. Like, Keen doesn't know. He still doesn't know about the Sky Toss. He needs to figure it out. He needs to get confirmation. Then he can start working towards Vikings, additional Marines, Ravens for potential anti-armor missile, or any kind of support. And there it is. We're boosting into the pocket base. The mine drop has arrived. 3 Widow Mines here in the pocket base. We do. Oh, God, no! We don't pull back. 10 workers go down. Big connections. Oh, as intentionally Harstem. Oh, there we go. We have a scan. I was going to say he hid his carriers. We have a couple of scans being thrown down. There was a scan in the main, and the carriers have been spotted. He knows. Immediately, we're working towards additional Raxes, goes for EMPs, second starport, ship weapons starts up as well for those Vikings. Now, these are good reactions out of Keen, but they may be too late. Like, Harstem, he's already here. He's already rebuilt his workers. He lost 10. He's already at 83. And he's pushing. All right, what do we have? 3 Colossi, 1 Disruptor, 5 carriers, soon to be 7 carriers, motherships on the way, 3rd Stargate in production as well. And Keen is being caught out. This is not the fight to take. Bleeding out Marines, bleeding out Marauders. Keen, he's trying to be active with 2 armies, but really that just means that he has 2 smaller armies that are vulnerable to being caught out. So he pulls back home. He's aware that something is wrong. Keen, as he is going for a split push. I'm loving the adept spread. So Harstem, he's just spreading out his adepts, trying to keep up with any kind of drop play. Just making 3 carriers at a time. Push on forward. Happy birthday if it's true. Yeah, 29th of October. It's my birthday, man. Here we go. As Keen is being forced all the way back. At the same time, he's going for a massive backstab, but trying to go for a base trade. But Harstem has a death ball. He is maxed out here at 200 supply. The Marauders, they try to dive on the Colossi. They get 1, they get 2. They get on top of the Disruptors as well. How much anti-air do we have? We get on top of the carriers. The Marines, they're going ham. They get 1. They get 2 carriers. They're getting a 3rd carrier just barely. They want it. Oh my God, they barely do not get it. Meanwhile, across the map, looks like a Nexus did fall. But the carriers, they stand strong. Harstem, he was almost broken. He almost lost his entire army. Back at home, we have defensive carriers as well. Keen, he has to race back home. 4CC is going to fall. Up. Oh my God, as Keen gets another carrier. Good pick. Also, we're bleeding out Marines. Oh my God. A lot of Marines are bleeding out. Gold base is being taken. Harstem, he's consolidating his army. He's recalling back home. Loses another carrier. We'll get you to stab. He's down to 8 carriers. I say down to. 8 is still a lot. 8 is still more than enough to support themselves. Here we go. Keen running on forward here with his man with gun. He's trying to break through. Novas go off. Now, Mothership will go down, but we have critical mass. 6 carriers is what we're looking for. We're up to 9 carriers. And pure Marine isn't good enough. Not anymore. We need EMPs. We need Vikings. We need turrets. We need a defensive line. And we're going for it. We dive in once again. 1 carrier goes down. We get a second. The dives are real. No, the Nova. Massive Nova goes off, and that is it. That is the entire army gone. Keen, he's down to a handful of units left. The Mayans, they go off. They take down some of the Phoenixes. Harstem, he has gotten out of control. Boys are being pulled to help repair. Vikings, they focus down another carrier. But there just isn't enough. Can we get one more? Up. Up. We do get one. We get two. We get two more carriers. Still three left. This is very close. Keen, he's relying on Harstem overextending. He's trying to rely on it, but it's not happening. We reinforce with more carriers. Like, it takes so much for Keen to kill one carrier, and it's not worth it. It's still too much. The economy here for Harstem is out of control. He has the goal base, fully operational. Our Harstem, he's still pumping out 4 carriers at a time. For every one that Keen kills, 2 more rise up to take its place, and Keen is down to 3 CCs. He does have bottom rights. Harstem is looking for any kind of ninja bases. He's going to back off. He's going to consolidate his forces, getting back into Colossus production. Keen is pushing out again with a drop. Okay, so there is a world, if he's able to catch some of these carriers on their own, like 2-3 carriers, like, he can pick them off. That's what he's really hoping for. Maybe pulling Harstem apart a little bit and catching some units here and there. But Harstem, he's consolidating his forces, he's back at home. He knows what he needs to do, and that is just max out. Max out to build up the death ball, and then push. Now, Keen, he is getting away with a hidden 4th base. He is muling quite heavily. So he has an economy. The double drop of Keen just still here on the edge of the map. Rotating around. Moving towards the natural here of Harstem. Meanwhile, Harstem, he's just chilling. And now he's reached that 200 supply army. He's just waiting for his reinforcing wave of Colossi and carriers. Speaking of, here come the Marines, but they run into Colossi. Of all things. They would have loved a disruptor, a carrier, but not a Colossi. As Keen is coming in with another army on the right-hand side. He gets one. He gets one carrier. Oh god. For a lot of Marines. That was one carrier for 16 Marines, by the way. If you look at that battle report. Anyway, here we go. Double jump into the main base. Reinforcements are back at home. We have Marines just rushing into the gold as well. But at this point, Harstem, even if he loses his economy, he can aim it. He has a death ball. He's pushing forward. There are ghosts to EMP. Keen does go for them, but the ghosts, no, they're all going to go down. Vikings are pushing forward. They can start focusing down the carriers. There we go. 1, 2 carriers go down. A Colossus as well. What was that? 3 carriers? Yeah, 3 carriers went down in total, and that is it. That is all that went down. Now Harstem can keep on pushing. Has to be careful with the minefield. Minefield is real. Yo, you got that one ghost. Standing strong against the fleet of carriers. I mean, these carriers, they are battered and bruised, but they're still alive. And that's all that matters here. As Harstem still is unaware of the bottom right-hand base, so he just still doesn't know that Keen has a better economy than Harstem really thinks. Rocks are being focused down. Harstem still just rotating around between the bases. There is a big drop here towards the left-hand side. It may force a recall. That's maybe the best that Keen can hope for. Bottom right base has been spotted. Drop comes in. Bit of a Narcosis pylon does depower a lot of the static defense, but there's that recall. 3 carriers turn around. That is enough to force back the drop. And Harstem can focus on this push. can focus on his main army. There we go. He's moving forward once again. EMP not quite connecting. CC's gonna be going down. That's the main base, by the way. The main base did float on over. Is gonna fall. And Harstem, he can just fall. Actually, was that the natural? My apologies. That may have even been the natural floating over as well. As Keen is coming in first round, he does get onto one of the Colossi. He commits. It's all or nothing for Keen. Big EMPs. You can see how low these carriers are, but they all survive. And GG gets called. Harstem will tie it up 1-1. He fights back. And he takes game 2 off of Keen. GG. GG. Well played. Oh, congratulations to Harstem for fighting back for himself. It was a tied up 1-1 score. Again, very impressive that Keen was able to take it in game 1. But here in game 2, Harstem, he chose Radisson Station and he took full advantage of this map, rushing into Skytoss, rushing into carriers, which again is something that you can do on this map, something unique to Radisson Station. And I'm sure Harstem was fully aware of that. That's why he went for it. So very well done there. Very good use of the map itself. And Keen just wasn't able to get a read on this. Remember, it took Keen a long time. It took him a long time to realize what was happening. It took him a long time to scout the fleet beacon and scout the carrier production. By then, it was a little bit too late. Harstem did a great job at just hiding it, protecting it, and getting into it. GG. GG. With that, Shopify will be taking the series 5-1 over the KWANGDONG Freecs. At least Keen was able to fight back and put a point on the board. And again, I'm very impressed by both Keen and Armani. They did have some good performances. I do think the 2-0 from ByuN over Keen isn't really reflective, or it doesn't do that series justice. Armani did play well. Scarlett versus TY was more one-sided. It was like that was a little bit more one-sided, and Scarlett was looking powerful in that best of 2. And yeah, congratulations to Shopify. GG, well played. And that will wrap up our broadcast here for the afternoon. Back to back, we covered WTL Day 2 and half of Day 1. We'll be casting the next series, Team Liquid versus Psystorm, sometime next week. Sometime next week. For now, we are done for the day. Again, it's almost 5 a.m. here in Australia, almost 5 a.m. I will be staying up just because I have to for ESL Masters. We are going to be live here on the channel tomorrow with the B stream. Oh, sorry, I'm not live on this channel. We are going to be live tomorrow on the B stream on ESL_SC2B. We won't be on the CranKy Ducklings. We're going to be on the official B stream of ESL. If you're asking, oh, Light, what are you going to do on your birthday? Sleep and then cast. Like any other day, Papi, any other day. Like, it's rough that my birthday is on a weekend because our weekends are so busy. Like, we do a lot of casting over the weekend. So yeah, gonna be busy with that. So yeah, thank you so much everyone for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching. We do appreciate it. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow with some more ESL Masters Winter. We're gonna be casting Asia, Europe, and Americas, all 3 regions. A very long broadcast. Look forward to it. I'm actually gonna be casting with Asher. Gonna be casting with Asher tomorrow as well. So it will be a lot of fun. I'm going to be casting Asia with Asher, at least Asia. I'm most likely going to be solo casting Europe, and I might have Yaku come in at the end for Americas. That's a maybe for Yaku. It's a maybe for Yaku. But at least I won't be alone. At least I won't be solo casting the whole thing. So yeah, Asher should be joining. Until then, though, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the support. Again, a shout out to all the winning teams here tonight in World Team League. And check out some of the other streams. I believe ESL Masters Winter is currently ongoing. There are a couple of people that are co-streaming as well. What are they casting right now? Geralt versus Max Fax. Technically, I could go live with and I could co-stream Americas. I think Americas is starting soon. But I don't think we expected this to go on that long. So I think we'll call it here. I could co-stream Americas, but we'll calm down. I don't want to overdo my voice for tomorrow. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching. I'm just looking for a stream to raid. Who do we raid?
Everybody,
Really
happy
good.
birthday, Light!
Ah, thank you. Do appreciate it. Ah, and yeah, 1 year older, a little bit wiser. A little. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, everyone. Thanks so much for support. We'll see you guys tomorrow for the B stream of ESL Masters Winter. Until then, hasta luego.